It's pretty difficult stuff, the 25 thousandths. It's pretty difficult stuff to weld. You use your rod as a heat sink. Just want to get in there and put a good tack on there so it won't come apart when you take it out. And the wood is going to be burning, of course. So you're going to have to spray that down with your your Windex or whatever you're using. Oh, trying to go carburizing on me. Yep, in this case you use that rod as a heat sink to help you out. And there we have it all tacked up. We'll let it cool off and watch the board so it doesn't flame up and catch the shop on fire. And once it's cool, we'll take it out, take it over to the welding table and weld her up. I don't know if we can see it too well or not. But the stuff we took out of that door is 1.5 pounds of junk. Now, I welded it up last night. Excuse me. Okay, I finished welded it last night. Finished welding. And here's the bottom channel that's going to go in here. I was hoping, and then that will cut out right there. Wherever it goes, I'm hoping it doesn't have to go down far to clear those struts. But anyway, I got to looking at the original door handle and all of that mess, and it was sloppy, and there wasn't really enough throw on that bell crank. So I have decided to cut that out. I'm going to weld in a 49 thousandths plate on top of that. I'll weld it in here, then bend it over, and then weld it around the edges. Then I'm going to drop down, probably, where's my straight edge? Doggone it. There it is. Okay, I'm going to drop down from the center line, from the center line of that hole. I'm going to drop down, let's see, quarter, half, probably about I don't know, 5/8 or maybe go on to 3/4. Well, it really depends. If I go down 3/4, I have to cut, let's see, I go down 3/4. In the original, I have to do some figuring here. That was the original. Let's see, it's down 3/4. Now I'd have to cut a whole lot of that out. Let's see, maybe I'll come down 5/8. Still got to cut some out. But I've got to have more throw if I come down. Well, that would help. This came down 3/8. That would give me an additional, I could go in, that'd give me an additional 1/2 inch of throw, which would be a great bit. So let's see, what am I going to do? I'll go down 3/8 of an inch. Write that down. 3/8 of an inch, and that's where I'm going to bore the new center line for the new bell crank, and then the bell crank will be a 1/2 inch or exactly 1 inch longer than the old one. Now that will give me some more throw. And in addition to that, I'm thinking about, now these springs are pretty strong, but I want more snap. So maybe, let's see, I could put a tension spring from there to here, there to there, or maybe I could put in a, I don't know. I think if I started putting it in here, I might start having interference with the, I'll figure that out later. And right now, I'm going to clean that up a little bit with a wire brush, then I'm going to weld that baby in. I'll weld this and then heat it right there in the middle and bend it down and then weld the edges shut. So that's what we're doing now. Putting in a whole new door handle and bell crank. I should have started from scratch and built the whole thing, because that's pretty much basically what I've done. I've put enough time into tearing it apart and redoing it that I could have built a whole new door and it wouldn't be so shabby looking as the way they had this built. Tack weld right there in the middle. I hear Jim Ireland flying his Stinson over the house. I would go out and give him a wave, but I'm busy. He's got one of those Continental 220 Stinson, I think they call it a Clevenger. Jim says that this one is not a Clevenger, but whatever it is. I'll put a tackle right there. Now this thin metal, you're going to have to use that welding rod as a heat sink, so you don't burn everything away. Okay, we'll heat it up a little bit. Uh-oh. Well, they're staying fairly cool. You know what? I'm going to put some rags on there. Just to make sure. I don't want to get this far down in the game and all of a sudden have my springs lose their temper. That would be not much fun. Cutting all of that out would be a real pain in the caboose. Let's see if we can start over. Probably shouldn't be showing this whole weld on film, because I think everybody gets the idea, but anyway, I'll do it just for grins. You see you need a little more heat, just give it to her a little bit at a time. As simple as that. Heat it up, let it cool off slowly. Go in the house, get a Diet Mountain Dew, and then we'll clean that up and determine where we're going to bore that 3/8 hole for the bushing. I'm using a 3/8 outside diameter bushing, a 1/4 inch inside. It's old 58 or old 63, something like that. And once it's in there and welded, then we'll clean it out with a 1/4 inch drill. Now while that's cooling, we know we're going to have a 3/8 inch long bushing for the door handle to ride in. So we're going to cut that. Yeah, 3/8 in diameter bushing, but it needs to be 3/4 long. And we're going to cut that a little bit long so that we can straighten up the edges on the belt sander. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and cut that on the old bands or metal band saw over there. And we'll clean it up. And oh man, I just cleaned the shop up and it's starting to look like a real mess again. These things tend to grab as you're cutting. Take you a bolt and just kind of put it in the end to help you out there. Try to cut it as straight as possible. ways to work. And we'll clean that up and make sure it's 3/4 of an inch. Put that back over my bushing pile. Clean it up on the disc sander and make sure it's square. And it's cut, cleaned up. It is exactly 3/4. Make sure it's square. You don't want anything binding with your door handle when you go to move it. You don't want anything binding. We're in good shape there. We're going to use stainless steel rod. Of course, that's tighter than a Dick's hat down there. Okay. Of course, what you don't see off camera, and this is what helps take up a lot of the time, is changing drill bits, getting ready for an operation, putting on a wire brush, that kind of malarkey. We're going to make sure that that's really clean, absolutely perfectly clean. And then we will take it over to the table and measure it and get ready for boring the 3/8 hole for the bushing. And there's our newly welded doubler plate. Well, when I was young, I could really lay in a bead. And now that I can't hardly see too good and shake a little bit, some of those beads wander. Okay, I think we said we were going to center our hole 3/8 of an inch down from the original, and I wrote it down, so that is correct. And we're going to go to the center of that hole. And we're going to interpolate because we're on an angle here, so you really can't. So 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch down really isn't that much further down. Center of that hole, right about there. I'm going to run that line on down. Okay, so, alright, there's the old, and if I add a 1/2 inch, I've got clearance up there, a 1/2 inch. There's clearance down here. I may have to grind a little bit right there, but that looks like that might work out for us. And I think a 1/2 inch additional bell crank movement there will help us out in the long run. Okay, we're going to center punch that baby, and I should have brought my flashlight. That looks fairly centered. And what do you know, I got it the first time. You're going to take it over to the drill press and bore it out. Okay, we're going to start off with a pilot hole. You can use 1/4 inch, that would be alright. Or you could do it properly. I think there is a proper drill bit that you pilot hole for 3/8 bore. Right now we're just getting with the program. And of course I need a flashlight because I can't see what I'm doing here. I'm going to chuck up for 3/8 bit. Now we said earlier that we have taken out about 1.5 pounds of superfluous metal, and we're going back in. The metal we're adding is going to add up to about 1/8 pound. So you know, we've saved quite a bit of weight. Okay, we'll clean that hole up so that it will accept the bushing. I doubt that it will take it right now. It's probably still too tight. So we'll clean that up and get the bushing to fit and be on with it. Okay, the bushing is going to have to go in there at a little bit of an angle to the, it's not going to be, 90 degrees to the hole, because when you bend it out and then back in to give yourself some hand clearance here, that puts the bushing, if it's 90 degrees, on an angle something like into that. You can make that work, but I want it to try to be 90 degrees to the door instead of to the fitting there. So it won't take much, just kind of. Yep, could have built a whole new door for what we're having to do here just to rebuild this one. Now, I've told clients that before on different projects, so you know, you'd be better off just building a whole new piece instead of trying to salvage that old piece. Don't do me wrong. Let's see. A lot of times it would really help if you had another man in the shop just helping you. Almost there. I wanted 90 degrees to the door, not with the fitting. I went to Busherinsky. And this is going to help me determine if we're pretty much 90 degrees to the door or not. Okay, now I'm going to get a magnet to help me hold that in place. I'm going to determine how far back this little bushing is going to come inside the door. Now it's looking fairly square now. And assuming, well, magnet isn't always the most reliable thing you can use. Looking at the arc, I'm just going to try to tack weld it, and if it's not right, then I'll heat it and put it where it's supposed to be. And hopefully we can get a tack in there before the magnet lets go. Of course, the thing is, as it cools, it's going to want to come down like this. Hopefully it will stay. We're going to get that magnet out there. Anyway, as you can see, it's just all an alignment problem. You just got to work with it until you get it right. Okay, making the assumption that the bushing has stayed in the correct position, I'm going to go ahead and weld that baby shut. Bushings typically take a little more heat. Tack weld this side, hoping that it doesn't wander around too much. Come on, tack, baby. Alright. We're going to get quite a bit of penetration in that bushing, so when you go to run that 1/4 inch drill through it, take it slow, because you're going to run into penetration metal. Post heat, still cool. Alright, we'll let that cool down. Go on to other things. We really need to remember we're going to drill a 1/16 hole in the top for lubrication. Okay, we're going to take the old bell crank. We're going to measure it, see how thick a piece they used, 95 thousandths. So I should have a piece of that around here somewhere. I'll dig it out and we'll cut out a new bell crank. Usually when I'm laying out my sheet metal to be cut, to make it easy, I'll clean the oil off of one side and with lacquer thinner or MEK. And then I'll put a light coat of automotive gray primer, rattle can primer. It dries real fast, and then once it's dry you can lay out whatever you need to cut, go cut it, drill it, clean it, do whatever you have to do, and then just take that primer right off with MEK. But today I'm not doing that. And we're going to make this baby 9/16 wide.